Welcome to Empire Interviews. So today we're going to be sitting down with Logan from Clarity DAO, and I cannot wait to get into this conversation about DAOs. And I know a lot of you are really excited for it. So without any further ado, let's just get into it. All right, so I am the _ John Carter on Twitter, co-founder of JPEG Empire, and I'm going to be talking today to Logan, one of the co-founders of Clarity DAO. So I am super excited about this interview because Clarity DAO and I think DAO structures in general are very exciting for most people. I was actually speaking to a project that we partner closely with. A lot of you all know that we partner closely with Kumadroid and Nebula over on Solana. And so we're doing some things together, and we were talking about DAOs and DAO structures and why they're important. But so now I've got the expert on this topic right here. We have Logan from Clarity DAO. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on. Excited to chat DAOs and all that good governance stuff, man.
Oh, absolutely. So actually, that brings up a pretty good point and interesting direction of conversation. So how long have you been in the Cardano ecosystem and in the crypto ecosystem?
Yeah. Yeah, so my story's a little different. I got introduced to blockchain in university my junior year in this like public policy class, and I became fascinated with, not needing to have a middleman, having self-sovereign identity, having a global financial operating system that anyone can access. So I caught the blockchain bug there. Um, And then I always had an entrepreneurial streak about me, and I wanted to templatize smart contracts. I didn't really know what smart contracts or for what use cases, but I played professional soccer for a bit and then stopped to work full time
Okay.
in Cardano. And
So
that brings us to,
just a second right there. Okay, so you said templatize. Well, you said a lot of stuff there, but you said templatize smart contracts. So explain that. What does that mean for somebody that doesn't understand, like what that means or like why that is valuable, right?
gotcha. So, I mean, the way I would describe it are smart contracts are things that are agreements between different parties that like automatically happen. So instead of having to know how to code in order to do these things, or we just make it easy. So you can fill out an online form, and instead of you being in the terminal, saying like what
Typing
address,
code,
yeah,
numbers, and
typing
all the
code,
different.
you're just like, hey, I want to put an automatically executing proposal out to my community, and you can just say, okay, we want to send 10,000 ADA to this wallet address, and if it gets approved, it'll automatically go there. So yeah, that's what it is. It's just about lowering the barrier to entry to interact with agreements that get executed on blockchain.
Gotcha. And then so my understanding of smart contracts, basically like individuals that want to make any kind of agreement between each other, where in a normal digital platform, right? These people might need lawyers, might need people in the middle to clarify the terms and conditions. So with smart contracts, we're essentially taking out the middlemen in between negotiations between one individual and another individual. Is that about right?
Yeah, that's part of it. I mean, there's always going to be a need for lawyers and people to interpret laws, but it can get to the point where there is smart contracts that can just be law. Code as law is a concept that people often talk about. And you see that with DAOs actually, because in these different jurisdictions, they're starting to make it possible to start, a DAO LLC. So you can actually have your governance encoded into smart contracts and run a company with smart contracts instead of having to have, a bank account, and you have to have, bylaws and all this type of stuff. You can actually codify all that stuff, which is really cool.
Gotcha. And then so somebody that's not technical, just basically governance is just whatever structure. So like whatever business structure, whatever corporate structure, whatever social structure, now you can provide and use those same structures digitally without needing like all of the bureaucracy, I guess. Like the bureaucracy is baked in essentially, right?
Yeah, I mean, most of the time when you have a DAO, you also have a legal entity, so it's not like you still have to comply. It's no different. But the thing about DAOs is, like an LLC or like a corporation, it's a structured way to organize. But DAOs are native to Web3 projects, native to decentralized communities, because instead of prioritizing board members and employees within the organizational structure, they actually prioritize core contributors and the community, the engaged community surrounding it. So it really enables like these gamified contributions and collective decision making, and it's cool to see all the different use cases popping up for this new organizational structure.
That's super cool. No, I love that. Yeah, I have been going back and forth here lately, like with my mom, right? Who she spent a lot of time in working with like city commissions,
Mhm.
working in like human outreach and different types of things around like marketing, but also like organizing communities. So, in a lot of this stuff here lately, I'm trying to cater some of the education a little bit more to somebody that is outside of our world, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time when I speak to my mom and dad, like, they love me, they support me. My dad's 80 years old, you know, they watch some of these shows sometimes, and my dad is like, the shows are amazing, but a lot of times I don't know what the heck they're talking about, right? So I keep trying to get better at
Yeah.
talking to those people outside of our world, because I realize the same way we pay lawyers a whole lot of money because they speak another language, right? We in the Web3 and crypto world speak another language, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
communicate.
absolutely. I mean, I think a good way to explain it is sometimes to just bring out the use cases. So, like for a DAO, one use case is buying real estate, where you can have, different community members come together to actually buy and operate and make decisions about the property that they all invest in through a DAO structure, which is really cool. So it's just a new way to organize people, and it's being used for a lot of different use cases. It's a tough concept to wrap your head around for sure. Though.
Absolutely. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and move over to Clarity DAO. Okay, um, so tell us about Clarity DAO and what kinds of services you guys provide to different communities, and like where the value that you guys are spreading across the space comes from. And is that bound to one chain, or is it structured in such a way that it is chain agnostic, the format that you guys have at this point?
Yeah. So I'll start with the last question first. So we are very open to being cross chain right now. We're focused on the Cardano ecosystem. Um, and really at the end of the day, the end user that we're going after, whether it's community members of sports teams, community members of, nonprofits, whatever the use case may be, at the end of the day, they don't care what chain you're on. That's truly my perspective. Like these chain wars that we often get wrapped up in, like it's at the end of the day, the end user doesn't care as long as they're using something that solves their problems, makes their lives better, whatever it is. But what is Clarity? So Clarity really is just a community management platform. It's a software as a service business where you can create a DAO, you can create a decentralized workforce, you can incentivize actions within your community. So really, from 0 to 1, you have all Clarity provides all the different tools you need to create your community, to participate in your community, to operate your community, and we do that in a handful of different ways. So one, if you're starting from 0, we can help you mint your tokens and think about how to distribute them to your community. And oftentimes projects already have a token, so they don't need that, but we partner with InMaker actually, so we're able to easily make that possible through the front end. We also have a huge emphasis on governance. So what you can do is you can build completely custom governance workflows within your organization. So you can say, what asset do you want to use as voting power? Do you have multiple assets you want to use as voting power? Do you want to do one member, one vote? Do you want to have quadratic voting? You can customize all that stuff. And really what this service is designed for, it's for businesses or projects that are seeking to create a collaborative decision-making process that aligns with their community's values and interests. So you're able to crowdsource ideas, decide on budgeting, you're really just able to get the pulse of your community before you make a decision. Now, this goes all the way up to having the ability to actually manage a treasury with a community. So you can have an on-chain treasury that is guarded by smart contracts that automatically execute if certain thresholds are reached after a community-wide vote, which is a really cool thing. The last thing that I think it's worth talking about is creating what we would call a decentralized workforce. So we make it easy to, what are your KPIs? How can your community contribute to them? You can get your community's noses pointed in the same direction by making incentives that people can complete in order to get points, which they can redeem for merch, they can redeem for experiences, they can redeem for more tokens. So creating that gamified community involvement, we provide the tools to make that a breeze as well. Yeah, and then other than that, we do a lot of consulting with projects about, how do they level up their decentralization? How do they even start to create a DAO? What's the first step? All that type of stuff. So we're also just a sounding board for a lot of projects as well.
That's fascinating. So, as I mentioned, I'm the co-founder of Jpg Empire. If we were looking at starting to branch out and think about how we could become more of a DAO, because one of the things that is really was a pivotal point in our project history is that the original project that we spun out of was the JPEG Junkies. And the JPEG Junkies were started by some influencers on YouTube. And basically, they stopped interacting with or doing anything or completing anything with the project. And, like, kind of there at the end, they said that the community wanted control over it, so that they had given it over as a DAO. There's a lot of conflicting personal experiences from people in the community that might have a different perspective on what actually happened. However, the DAO part was always exciting to me, right, in the beginning, because it was kind of like, okay, now the community gets to be empowered to determine the direction of this project. However, being a part of the community and seeing everything that was going on from the inside, there was not a structure to actually facilitate anything actually moving forward or anything being able to be completed, right? There was nobody that took responsibility of pushing anything forward. You have a million proposals and nobody whose job it is to fulfill the proposal. Okay, so how does Clarity deal with that to provide that for a project that aspires to go that direction?
Yeah, my main answer to that is, like, people think of these DAOs as organizations that don't have leadership, but really DAOs have to have leadership, and they have to have people that are driving the DAO forward every day. So you can't start out completely decentralized. So if you're a smaller project, you're still trying to grow, you need, 2, 3, 4, 5 people that are like, okay, there's something that the community wants. Like, if it gets voted, then I'm going to be the guy to execute it. So I feel like the situation you described, it seems like there was like a dispersion of responsibility, and then the community wanted certain things to happen, and no one was stepping up to actually write the code or actually make it happen. So at the Clarity DAO, we have a foundation that exists to implement the votes of the DAO. And how that works is the DAO will say, hey, here's some funding from the treasury to maintain the protocol for the next 2 years. And here's the roadmap of the technical roadmap that needs to be achieved. And we actually passed the proposal to, like, fund the first 2 years of development. And you can see, like, the roadmap that we have in terms of a technical nature. But I mean, I'd be happy to show you, like, just how to get started on Clarity and what you can actually do, if that's cool with you.
Absolutely. Can I just bring this up right here?
Yes, sir. All right,
All
so
right.
I'll kind of fly through it a little bit. There's lots of content on our YouTube and whatnot where you can see, but if you wanted to start, really, you just click create organization. Um, there's a lot of people that would like you to use their referral codes, so come find one in our Discord, and a community member would be happy. But yeah, you put in the name of your organization, so Empire DAO, whatever. You put in your description, you put in your logo and all your links, then you click save. So I'm going to show you how we use it. So our DAO uses our technology to organize all of our community and everything. So here you can see we manage a treasury. You don't have to have a treasury feature to do your DAO. You can see all the different stuff in the treasury. The next thing that we do is we handle governance. So in terms of how to set it up as an admin, you get to customize off-chain DAO tokens, so you can put your own logo or whatever here, call it whatever you want, and they'll be your gems. These are like contribution points. I'll get more into those in a sec. Then you can upload all the different policy IDs of all the different things you can, and then once you have your governance tokens in there, you can create different voting power calculations. So if you want to combine the assets for voting power, you can just do one segment of your community that holds a certain NFT. You can do one member, one vote. But once you configure all that, it's super flexible. You can create all different types of governance actions, whether you want to poll, this is like a yes, no, multiple choice. You can do an open poll. This could be like a meme competition where the community actually provides the answers that get voted on. So this could be, like I said, a meme competition. This could be like a new feature idea. This could be like a catalyst proposal brainstorm, whatever it is. And then you can have forums, so discussion threads as well. So super flexible governance. The next thing we help with is membership. So for your community, you can set the thresholds of what does it mean to be a member? Do you have to hold a certain amount of tokens? Do you have to verify your email? Whatever it may be, you get to see that. And now we get into the gamification side and like the incentives of the community. So this is a leaderboard of the most active community members in the Clarity DAO. And you can see they're stacking up diamonds. So how this kind of culminates is in the community, like pretty much rewards and engagement program where we have different boards. So say you want help from your community to create content. Like, hey, you get 200 points if you create a thread on X. You get 100 points if you turn on notifications, whatever it may be. Maybe there's an onboarding board that we use, an onboarding board where it's like, okay, you're new, follow us on all of our socials. The last thing, and this is also some alpha that not enough people know about, honestly, but we have this September mega raid. So right now we have a community distribution going on where the people on this leaderboard I'm about to show you will be distributed in a pro rata fashion, 4.925 million Clarity. If you do the math, it's like pretty juicy drop. But what you can see is people come in here. There's 12 days left in this competition. There's all these tasks where you can come over here and you can actually complete a task and get points, and you start leveling up on the leaderboard. Whether it's retweet a tweet, whether it's give a referral, whether it's whatever it may be, create a thread that gets 50 likes. You can see like
Wait,
how
will you scroll down there just a little bit on that list? Oh, we got Shaggy right there. Shaggy Racks. Shout out to Shaggy Racks.
Shaggy Racks is a OG at this point. He's been grinding the raids, man.
Absolutely.
But yeah, man, that's pretty much how it works. If you are doing on-chain stuff and governing a treasury, you do have a staking page where members have to be staked in order to cast votes over the treasury, and it's token weighted. And yeah, I mean, you can send out. We help you generate a report to do staking rewards, whatever you need. Like we help out with that side of things as well. But yeah, that's pretty much the platform. I guess what's in store for it is pretty soon we are going to be building an SDK, so you can actually access all this functionality in your own front end. So that will be pretty cool as well. We'll have vote delegation soon. We'll have some DREP functionality soon. And yeah, a lot of social integration. So like you can automatically approve, retweets and commenting on YouTubes and subscribing, like all that good stuff. But yeah, man, that's pretty much it.
That's amazing. I love it. So is there no upfront cost then if somebody is going to make their account and structure their organization on here?
Free to get started, completely free. So we have a freemium model. Once you start getting value out of it, so say you get like 25 members, or you have to make a handful of governance actions every month, it turns to a subscription. And then the other thing to talk about is the protocol revenue, the protocol fees. So those are turned off. They're not going to be turned on for a while. That's the intention. But every time there's an on-chain action, whether you create a DAO, cast a vote, create an automatically executing proposal, the Clarity DAO can actually turn on those fees. And when that turns on, all those fees will go directly to the Clarity DAO treasury.
Gotcha. That's fascinating. So I love this. And maybe we'll create one soon to mess with it.
Yeah,
That
bro.
way we can start, figuring out how we're going to do it, because we do have a lot of really big plans in the future. So right now, then, this is basically it's still built for Cardano and Radix.
Mm-hmm.
However, if somebody were on another blockchain, they could probably still use this for structuring and such at this time, and then in the future there might be an implementation. Is that about right?
Yeah. So we're actually about to implement. We're about to implement social logins, so you can log in with really anything. But yeah, a lot of this is like off-chain gamification, point system stuff. There's some on-chain stuff, and really to expand to other chains, what we need to do is build a chain indexer and have a wallet connect button, and then we can calculate voting power. So yeah, like I said, we're mostly focused on the Cardano ecosystem now, but if you're a DAO, I think this is one of the best, or looking to become a DAO, this is one of the best tools out there.
That's fantastic. I love it. This has been incredibly helpful. Let's see, Logan. There's two questions that I ask all the time, anytime I sit down with anyone and do an interview, that is important to me because I will judge you harshly, right? So there's only like a couple of right answers, not as many, there's way more wrong answers. So the first thing is, okay, if you're going out to eat and you're able to go anywhere in the entire world, right? Blank check. Where are you going to eat? What are you eating, right? What are you ordering? The bill's on somebody else, right? So you can literally order anything. Where are you?
um,
What are you eating? Where are you going?
I'd probably like make a private event and cater Nobu at some like, I don't
Nobu.
know.
I've
I
never
don't
been to
know.
Nobu, so it's that good. But what are you ordering there?
Probably sushi. I mean, I don't really. I've
Sushi.
never eaten there because I'm not bougie like that. But I hear like if you're trying to have a nice expensive dinner, no one ever complains after Nobu.
Interesting. So that might be my bull market goal, right?
Yeah, yeah, there you
I
go.
recently on a live stream was saying that you know, those memes where it's like, when I make it, I'm not going to tell anybody, but there'll be signs.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
saying that like one of the things is you'll come into my house and I'll have like one of those like crazy toilets with the heated seats and the bidet and the whole thing. You know what I mean? I was like, that'll be one of the signs, So maybe the other one is going to be Nobu,
Yeah,
right? That's
yeah.
fantastic. And then favorite movies, man, or just like a handful, or like something, if you were gonna give like a good one that captures like what you're thinking right now, you know?
I haven't seen like. Okay, I got a few things to shout out here. One weird thing about me is I love a World War II documentary. I don't know why, but like sometimes just watching that and being like, "Holy shit, this actually happened!" Like, how do we avoid this? Like, um, so that's interesting. I really like the dreamer in me really likes Interstellar.
Okay.
In terms of having humans be interplanetary and all that. And then I just watched a pretty cool one called The Long Game. It's about this group of Mexican golfers in like the early 19th century, maybe mid 19th or 18th, 20th century, where they were being discriminated against because like, golf was like a primarily like white person sport. And they, found their way into the tournaments and won. And it was a pretty cool story arc. And the last thing, this is weird, but one of my favorite movies of all time is Inside Out. I love that one because
Dude, yeah.
yeah, that's weird set of films there, but those are the things that popped in my head.
No, those are some good ones. That's definitely awesome. All right. So then another question that I have is Cardano has been going through this governance revolution, right? Where they are trying to become a DAO. How do you feel? What are your personal opinions about the direction they're going, and about how that they are handling governance? I was supposed to be at one of the constitutional workshops last Saturday in Colombia, and my passport came in late, so I wasn't able to make it.
Mm.
But I will be interviewing somebody that was there about that whole experience this weekend. How do you feel about those? Have you attended some of those governance events? And what do you think about where we are and where we're going?
Yeah, I sat through some stuff at Rare Evo. I think I think there is a pragmatic and diligent approach going on. I think we're going to host a help host a constitutional workshop in Austin, Texas,
Heard about that.
pretty soon here. So I haven't been to one yet. But overall, it's a big treasury. You need to have safeguards. You need to have processes. I hope it doesn't. I like how there's a lot of diligence involved. I hope it doesn't turn into like just like a bogged down governance system where it's like, oh, this is a 5 months process to even like get a proposal considered. Do you know what I mean? I hope that there's ways where we can spur innovation faster, and like that. So I'll be an advocate for sub DAOs for specific purposes. Maybe it's to fund core protocols on Cardano to build a new layer two, like things like that. I think that the Cardano community should treat the treasury like a VC would treat a fund. I mean, there is other uses outside of it, like grassroots community movements and stuff that the community can contribute to, but we really should be looking at it from these are investments. Like this ADA needs to bring people into Cardano. This ADA needs to create more transactions that feed the treasury. Like, and the last thing is we need more participation. I mean, at the end of the day, like delegation is good, but we need more people that just hold ADA to like actually be interested in participating in governance. Yeah, those are my overarching thoughts on it.
So that's interesting. I love that perspective. I think it's really good. It kind of made me think of Rick and Morty in a sense. I don't know if you've ever watched Rick and Morty, but there's a particular episode where there's like a battery that works on basically slavery, right? And so they're saying like,
And then they make the battery and the battery. I
yeah,
don't
they
know.
put that, yeah, it's like batteryception, but like there's multiple points in time where they say, like, that's terrible. It's basically just slavery with extra steps. So I feel like what
Yeah,
you were saying there is like you want us to have governance, but you don't want us to have government, like all of the
yeah,
issues we have with the government currently. It's like, you know, I like where we're going, but I just hope it doesn't become government with extra steps where we get to that
yeah.
over top heavy, very bogged down, very bureaucratic, but also like all kinds of, oftentimes corruption, because in complication there are loopholes and lack of transparency and a lot of those things. So I can see that being the ultimate concern, is that we are
Mhm.
escaping the traditional structure to create our own traditional structure with technology, to
Yeah.
then get trapped inside the same thing.
Well, the big difference is this is going to be completely transparent. So that's the promise of blockchain. And at the end of the day, I'm optimistic. It's a big experiment. Um, Someone's got to try it. I mean, we're doing stuff similar with Clarity DAO. I know it's not a $500 million treasury yet, but you know, we're doing experimentations in governance, and we'll figure out how to keep the Cardano ecosystem going and growing.
I love that. That's fantastic. Let's see. I For the most part, I think that this has been super informative with the time we've spent so far. Um, I guess, what are you the most bullish about or excited about with this upcoming market cycle? What innovations do you see coming out that will make the biggest difference?
I think when I think of this next bull cycle, hopefully, I think of like real world adoption and like normal people using blockchain and they don't even know it. Um, so, I mean, I'm biased, but I think DAOs are going to be a huge part of this next wave. I know that people think DAOs have come and gone, but I think DAOs are going to be implemented into, I think every corporation is going to have a DAO strategy in some way, shape, or form. So I'm super bullish on DAOs and driving real world adoption through this new organizational structure that's better for decentralized governance among a diverse set of stakeholders.
Fantastic. Okay. Lastly, have you seen Keystone, the Keystone hardware wallet? Have you seen the Cardano integrations they've been working on here lately?
I don't know too much about it, but I saw this video on Twitter where they like easily swapped for InMaker or something. Like
To
I don't know
Cardano.
exactly, but it was a slick looking wallet.
Yeah, so they have integrated like in wallet swaps. So you can swap from, some other currency to Cardano, as well as they have a voting portal. So you can vote from your hardware wallet. They are going to allow people to order the actual Keystone wallet with their NFT on it
Mm,
if they want, as well as you'll be able to have like screensavers of your NFTs on the wallet, things like that, background screens and stuff. Also, like a visual gallery of them. They have a lot of things that are going on that are pretty exciting. I think it would be really interesting to get them to also include Clarity DAO's DAO governance structure and voting tools, right? If you all are already working on an SDK, I know Keystone seems to be really receptive to not rebuilding the wheel, right?
yeah,
So those kinds of things, that would be a very interesting collaboration. I definitely
yeah. I
see a
mean,
lot of that
would love
happening.
to love to chat with them. I mean, we love collaborations too. I mean, that's exactly why we're building this SDK. Right now, we're kind of building a list of projects, 10 to 20 projects that are going to be like the beta testers of the SDK, give us feedback so we can refine it before we actually go public with it. So yeah, we'd love to chat with them. Maybe they can help us test it out and put some gamified governance into their wallet.
I will say JPEG Empire also volunteers. We'll be brutally honest. We have a little bit of history there.
All right. All right. That's what we want.
But all right, Logan, this has been fantastic. I appreciate your time today. I know it was kind of like abruptly out of the blue. I was like, hey, like, let me get you in here. But I've been wanting this for a while. I think this was a really good episode. It was a good conversation, and look forward to seeing you soon and around.
Likewise. Thanks so much. All right.